the even more fan and live in color, as opposed to coming to you dead and in black and white. And this handsome fella sitting next to me is the all-up producer. He just does everything. He did everything, man. This is Prime Blaq, who has his company called Billion Dollar Bangers. Okay, we just woke up the ancestor. We just woke him up. And speaking, well, he's not an ancestor, but he is truly an asset to us and our people as we acknowledge and celebrate all of the work. Well, not all of it, because we still ain't finished. We still got stuff to go. You know, I just I got a toe in the life. Wait till I get up here knee high to a duck, watch, because it's gonna be off the chain. You can't see. I can see. Everybody see. Everybody live in color. I'm live in color. Oh yeah. Okay, so one of our dear mentors is not doing well physically, and we want to pay him homage and let people know how much you mean to us, what you mean to us, and that we salute you, sir, Mr. Claude Anderson. Dr. Claude Anderson.
I want you guys to know his name, remember his name. This man has been a major influence on my life as a young black man, and now becoming an adult black man. And so during this time that we're just going into Black History Month, I want people to take into consideration a lot of the things that we've gone through and where we're at now and where we're going as a collective. I want to send the most humble energy out to this man. I'm so grateful and honored, humble honor, to be able to mention him today.
Oh, he's more than a mention. Yeah. I mean, because where's his book? Honey, give me his book. We got the book. We got the book.
We got to shout them out.
Oh, let me tell you this here. I'm telling you, we talk about, let's salute Black history, and some of y'all don't even know your Black history.
They don't even know.
Some of me didn't know some of this history. Yep. He's written this book called, it's a bestseller list on Essence and BET and at the Mother Love Show. Oh yeah. It's called Dirty Little Secrets About Black History, Its Heroes, and Other Troublemakers. Now, I would have been that. Why y'all telling him about me with the troublemaker? He ain't have to blast it all out loud like that.
You got to talk about the troublemakers. If you talk about the good stuff, you got to talk about the bad stuff too. It's
but not necessarily. Okay. I'm not a bad troublemaker. I'm not a bad troublemaker. I don't just go out and want to be mean and evil to people. Now, troublemaker, I am. I am known to upset the apple cart. Yeah. I am known to say things what some people would say out of place, even though it would be true. And I tried to do the whole lying thing one time when I was a young kid, and it just didn't work. Even when I lied and I didn't even do it. I didn't even do it. And that's what brothers and sisters, they have traumatized me. My sister traumatized me. But I made it through, and we love each other dearly. It's Dirty Little Secrets. It's about Black history. Listen, this is the kind of book this is the kind of book, this one right here. Oh, look, it came up right.
It came up.
Look at that. It ain't even backwards or anything. You got that over there?
Oh, yeah, I get them over here. I'll be a Vanna White.
Okay. Just be my bound. Okay, you don't make a good Vanna
White. I don't. Okay. I'll stand my line.
Yeah.
But Dirty Little Secrets was one book that just, it highlights all of the things that we may have misnomers about, or the wrong narratives, or not all of the information that needed to be disclosed. And so shout out to Dr. Claude, because he actually did a lot of the studying and investigations as far as in our history. And so I think that given the opportunity that you get a chance, go to powernomics.com and support him. That's one book. And then we have Black Labor, White Wealth, which I am in line right now of reading in one of my study classes, my spiritual study class. Shout out to Big Levi, one of the guys who are highlighting, as much as I am as well, highlighting the things that have gone on throughout history, where we've gone through school from elementary all the way up to 12th grade and into predominantly white colleges, where we didn't get a chance to even have enough of the fruitful information that would help us and guide us on our guiding posts and our mission and our journey in life. And when you're in most African Americans, Black folks in America, Negroes, colored people, however you want to name it, we've been a tree with no roots. And so when you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going.
Listen, he's learned well. Just to give you to understand this book, I want to just read.
Because you're reading this one.
Oh yeah, I'm on this one.
Okay, so go ahead, let them know.
And this is okay. Dirty Little Secrets About Black History, Its Heroes, and Other Troublemakers. To date, history remains largely White history. Black people as a race are virtually non-existent when historical events are described in textbooks, movies, and centennial celebrations. Their role in America, I will have to say our role in America, is most often that of cotton pickers, marchers, or rioters. Black History Month narrowly limits contributions, narrowly, to blacks to a familiar list of 10 to 15 individuals. In fact, blacks, though enslaved and powerless, had the profound and indelible influence on the American socio-economic system, building on the back, building on the back. Black labor, white wealth.
Yeah.
Now see that we can't make this up. We can't know. Mother love, what
talk
about that?
I had to work 2 times harder to get half the reward.
And I had to work 4 times harder simply because I'm a woman.
Wow.
And simply because I'm an outspoken woman.
Wow.
And at a time I was a large fat black woman. What? They had 11 different things before they got the mother love.
You just had 3 strikes, you're out.
No, I was down. I was down,
But
and I'm like, okay, I'm down. I was down 3 of them, and then I was like, okay, I started getting up, and then I learned how to dodge and weave and maneuver and listen to my elders. Even though I thought my mother was just like the dumbest person on the earth. What did she know about love? So she had a husband and 6 kids. What did she know? Woke up one day, the woman was a genius. I know you all have been through this. Don't even act like you don't. Okay, to 10 to 15 individuals, when in fact blacks, though enslaved and powerless, had a profound and indelible influence on the American socioeconomic system. Black labor was the engine that drove this nation and civilizations around the world. It wasn't just over here. Slavery and its legacy, white privilege, y'all can say what y'all want to, say it don't exist. We see it every day. Don't even try to get stupid. Slavery and its legacy shaped and continue to reveal this nation's cultural, moral, and ethical hypocrisy. The products of Black power created industrial revolutions in Britain and America. They produced social tensions that led to the Revolutionary War, Civil War, Reconstruction, and a national civil rights movement. And they got the nerve to tell us, yeah, we need to get over it. Sure. Much information about race remains lost or buried in laws, bills of sale, newspaper reports, letters, economic analysis, and personal diaries. Okay, and you get hung if you were teaching a Negro or slave how to read or write. I mean, could you even imagine
that couldn't read?
That you couldn't read, wow. And somebody want to stop you from. Someone wants to stop you from learning that and doing that. I remember growing up, they used to have this phrase, and oh my God, to this day, I hate this phrase. They said, if you want to keep a secret from a black man, put it in a book. Lies, because we're going to find out. You got to lie your way through it. You might get by, but you will not get away. And here we go. This is much information about, as already said that, remains in the letters. And the purpose of this book is to unearth and expose some of the dirty little secrets hidden in the darkest of history. Wow. For example, did you know that even without the benefit of a formal education, newly freed Black slaves filed for and were awarded more than 300 individual patents? Wow. Individual. This wasn't a group thing. It's 300 individual patents. And how many have they stolen? Let us count the ways.
It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. And it's crazy. It's amazing because of that. We know that we were inventors. We know that we were smart even to this day. And to be capsized, like we have to understand that we went through a lot of atrocities, and this was Jacob's trouble. That's how I look at it. When you look at it from a spiritual and biblical aspect, physically, you can see that. Oh wow, no matter how much we shall overcome, that we were trying to climbing up the hill was just a boulder just falling back down, and you see, and everybody just started giving up. Like, oh, after Martin Luther King got assassinated, like we kind of just got comfortable and accepted. Like, okay, this is what we're supposed to deal with. No, we fought. We kept fighting every day. And to this day, still I shall rise. I do rise. I told you, for example, there were 300 invention patents between 1870 and 1900. That's only 30 years. Wow. 300. That's like 10 patents a year. Yeah, that was
well, your brain is moving. A number of high-level elected officials, including presidents, vice presidents, and members of the U.S. Senate had, quote, black blood and black mistresses. Yeah, you about to fell off your bracelets, heart almost fell out your chest when you found out Thomas Jefferson, who had a whole bunch of slaves, had about 17 kids with Sally Hemings, and he said, all my children are free. And y'all know what y'all talking about. And they, when I say they, I'm talking about the ancient, well, they weren't ancient, but the readers and the formers of this. Y'all the one that came up with, if you got one drop of black blood in you, you're black. So then they said, oh, well, okay, well, my mistress, my wife, I don't want her figure messed up. And so my mistress, she got them wide hips. Let me go in there and just pump up full of babies. Okay, and then you pump up full of babies and you realize, oh, the baby came out chocolate. Oh, yeah, because some of then they had a new word for the people that like bright and almost white, mulatto. Wow. It's something about that word. It just don't make sense to me.
It was kind of the scene that was in the movie Life, where he was like, who's the daddy of this chocolate head baby? I'm the pappy. I'm the pappy. You know,
and so, we learned to our ancestors learn to live through all of this so that we could be here. I mean, through you think about it. You are forced to come to a foreign land. With the people that you think are your own people over in Mother Africa, the leaders of the tribes over there, and pushing you to the shore so that white people could come and get you. So it wasn't just about white people enslaving us. Our own people are enslaving us. And wait a minute, what did he say? Oh,
not all skin folk.
Yeah, it's kinfolk. And and that was a hard one to swallow. Even growing up in the projects, we were color struck. I admit, for my boyfriends, I was color struck. I wanted, because everybody thought, you dark, and they didn't even consider me dark skin. They considered me red skin before my full color came in. And you can still see me if you get up in my face. And everybody get up in my face, that close as my husband. Anybody else, you getting cut. I'm telling you, Nikki with a butter knife. And you could still, I still have freckles. And my hair was like, it wasn't red or brown. It was kind of like orange, so I got teased relentlessly. And I learned the power of the word, and I learned the power of reading and understanding what you're reading, and be able to, when you would get a new word when you're in elementary school, and the teacher would say, today's word is going to be succinct. Now we want you to spell it. This is how you spell it, SUCCINT. This is however you spell it. And then she'll say, okay, now this is what it means. And it was like a mind thing. I come to find out, but it was really good for children to have recall like that. 10 minutes, she talked about something else altogether different. She didn't erase the board off with the word off. And then she said, okay, who could tell me what the word was? Like 4 of us remembered the word.
I was on it too in class. Like when
to
speak on like the fact that we couldn't read. There was 3 books that my mother put in front of me. The Bible, the dictionary, and the encyclopedias. That would have made me well-rounded. That would have made my enunciation and my diction on profoundness.
Oh, you talk white. Why you talking like the white people? Yeah. Why you putting a T across the T and down the I? Why you keep saying I'm going? You don't say I'm going. What's wrong with you? Why you ain't using all that country dialect?
Didn't they used to tell us that go to school and get you an education, and when you actually get an education, find out the factuals are actual.
Hold your head over something. I'm just only seeing part of your face.
Sometimes we really, we even defy the systems that were put in front of us. A lot of the miseducations of Laurel Hill, when we really look at it, we have a lot of work that we still have to do. A lot of growing up, things that we were so used to and accustomed to, we have to take into consideration. We have to be more graceful and humble with each other, that we did go through a lot of stuff. We did do a lot of stuff to each other. Hurt people, and we are a hurt people. Post-traumatic slave disorder. Healing, we have a foundation level ground of healing now. We need to be able to come together and have these conversations about things that do strike emotions and reactions out of us. Even with the book that we're reading now, Black Labor, White Wealth, that was something that it really resonated with me because of a lot of the hard work that I was. Every time I was looking everywhere, every way.
Welcome to my life.
So
welcome to my life.
All those no's fueled me.
Right, and you have to be able to accept the no's, and you need to know who you are and whose you are. Don't just think that you can just, follow the crowd, because then when you do, You could be following a crazy person. Shut up, I ain't calling no names about the 45th. But nonetheless, Dr. Claude Anderson, we are praying for you.
Yes, we are.
We're making. See, this
Go ahead.
This is where dude goes.
Yeah,
The first chapter.
First chapter.
Ready to throw the book in. But we need to read this so that we know where it comes from and how we can deal with it and what we do to get through it.
And be open. Chew the meat and spit out the bones.
See, that's it. And when I was growing up, they didn't talk about history. They didn't talk about the Depression.
No.
They wouldn't talk about, they didn't talk about the Civil War. This is my great-grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother and father and the people in her circle. They made sure. Even though my father died at 31, he made sure that we had books in the house. My mother was an avid reader. She gave me the wherewithal to want to become a reader and to learn as much as I could, to be a master of none, but a jack of all trades, well, a Jill of all trades. Know a little bit about a lot of things. Yeah. And like your folks did, they did make sure you had the encyclopedias, you had the books, you had the Bible.
Yeah.
I didn't even
know, good foundation books.
I didn't know what the heck a Rosicrucian or what that was. The Rosicrucian. My mother had all kind of books. She read everything from Plato to up to Malcolm X, Dr. King. Yeah. We were avid readers, and I remember we would learn stuff at her feet and at my grandmother's feet, and we would go to school, and I would say, well, how come y'all not talk? Where's Benjamin Banneker? Yeah. What had happened to him? He was over there. Why you don't talk about him? They don't talk about Tecumseh. They'll tell you that they named the white general after Tecumseh, and how strong these roots were. And that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to disconnect us from our root. They wanted to tell us, you grow over here. Now, we some bad. Shut your mouth. Woo! Because I know that I'm a direct descendant of the transatlantic slave trade. And this is something that I knew this, but it just kind of didn't make sense. Yeah. Okay, these men and women and children are coming over on this boat, and they already came out of cramped quarters where they keep them for I don't know how many months before they put them on the doorway of no return to put them on these ships. And they coming over here with nothing. They're chained together. If one died next to you, the other died next to you, you got a good chance of dying in the middle. And they would just unchain them, throw them overboard. And then when they got here, this is how they tested who would be a strong slave, who could be in the field. They would come over and lick their skin. And if they were salty, this is why salt and Black people really don't work well with us, not like that. If they were really salty, they came at a high price because you had high, middle, and low. And most of the children, they was licking the children too, like they just small adults. Yeah. And the saltier you were, the more you could fetch. Wow. Is that something? That's something? Then they're going to tell you, we're going to lick you first, and then we're going to tell you furniture, you my property. Okay, yeah, you my moving property. And they traded slaves in and out, in and out. The president in the White House, they got a little tunnel with a little door that leads down some steps, that lead down to a tunnel where their mistresses stay. This is where they all copulated at to have the children. And all of them, everyone. I don't think Barack though, because Michelle Obama ain't like no. I ain't say he wasn't tempted. Because if they could, they'd have thrown 12,000 pair of panties at him every day. The respect that this man has for his wife, for the mother of his children, for his family. How he reveres his mother and his grandparents. And people just got mad because dude rose up and they see when we can appreciate that. We can appreciate that. I take it as a symbolism because the last viewing of that was Bill Cosby and Claire Huxtable. So that was our American family, and then for a long time we had Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. With Dr. Phil. So we've had great examples outside of our actual home, and that's where we have a disconnect because we adopt the
the families that are outside instead of actually embracing and actually working on and healing our own families like that. People really don't want to do the work.
And it
shadow
does
work.
And that's where it is. That's where it's done. You have to be able to do the background work, do the grunt work to find out. And a lot of times when those family secrets come up, when those generational secrets come out, it can destroy a family.
Yeah.
It can destroy, individuals. I mean, we've seen the horrific ramifications of marriage and divorce. I couldn't even think, if I'm gonna marry someone, I could not even think to tell my husband or him saying to me, okay, I love you and I'm gonna love you for the rest of my life until we die, but sign this prenuptial agreement anyway.
It's a lot of fine, right?
I'm like, really? Why would you go into? And if you're that insecure that somebody and some of y'all
conditional love,
I love you with
transactional
love. That's all it is. Well, I love you if.
It used to be built. It used to be family. Everybody used to sit at the table. The television is what took and tore the whole family apart because you had TV dinners. You could be able to discuss things and actually come up with family plans and things like that. And even if you had a problem, somebody had some type of advice to get you through that. And so when we're at now, Jim Crow and the Willie Lynch letters really showed us a lot. And so when we read our books and we listen to our historians, we need to take into consideration the things that we did go.
Keep going.
We got to take into consideration all of the things that we did go through. And so that's why I wanted to highlight these books. I wanted to put them in everybody's face because this is that time of the month and we actually need, it's the time of the season. It's the time of the year. And so that book, Dirty Little Secrets, Black Labor, White Wealth, I'm studying that right now, and Powernomics. I think everybody need to take into consideration this is like that's that new Bible. And so shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson. I know if you guys can see it, I don't think you can see it all the way here, but there you go, showing everybody on all the platforms. We live on all the platforms. We're worldwide, if you guys can see that. It's just an amazing time that we're in right now. And I think everybody just need to take some time and just reflect, go into introspection. Right now, I'm in a fast. Yesterday was the first day of the spiritual fast, the plutonian fast with the whole group right now. It's a lot of spiritual energy going on right now. I think people just need to take the time to, get out, get in some water, take a spiritual bath, get in some dirt. I know it's raining outside. The weather's been crazy all over the place, but be at peace. I think we all need to be at peace and just be humble enough to just sit back and take into consideration the things that we have, that we're involved in and the steps that we need to take moving forward. Because I think a lot of people are confused. They're lost. They don't have no sense of direction. They don't have a plan. A goal without a plan is a nightmare. So I need you guys to just take that into consideration, that it's going to take more than just working your job. A lot of people hate their jobs. A lot of people out here hate their jobs, and you're not even even if I'm working my job, I've been putting all the separate work aside to even school work was schoolwork, homework was homework. So like I said, with all of these books that I had ready at my disposal, like the Bible helped me out a lot as a kid. Like I went through a lot as a kid, and when you're witness to man's sin so early in life, that lets you know that like God has a beautiful, humble hand of grace and mercy upon me. I was stabbed at 4 years old by a crackhead. I was molested at 8 years old. I went through a lot of stuff, and for me, like, you need to do the spiritual work, and most people get damaged as a kid. And, a lot of the atrocities that we went through during Jacob's trouble, a lot of our people were hurt. Once 2020 hit, a lot of things changed. We had to step back and look back at all of the things that we were doing. Even for myself, it's like, okay, I went through all of these things in my life, crazy stuff. You wouldn't expect nobody to go through that, but it's people all around the world who have gone through and been like tortured, damaged, and still don't have really the proper resources or the information or even the location or the people in their life to even be or feel empowered. And so I challenge everybody to really seek out and understand that you need to work on your mind, body, and spirit right now. This is not no time to play right now with anybody, with nobody. If you are constantly in arguments with people, get away from them. All that pettiness, keep them out of your life. Find your place of peace. Get back to your true talents. And if you don't know what they are, you got to be able to seek it out. It's so deep and it's so hard because you're going to have so many challenges, so many different distractions and obstacles put in front of you. But it's this. How much do you have inside of you to fight through that? 2 years ago, I lost my father. I cremated my father in the same week that my grandmother passed away in front of me. I watched my grandmother see angels in front of me. And so I want people to understand that a lot of these things that are happening around the world are way bigger than man's abilities. We have abilities, and people have gotten so arrogant and thinking that they can defy God. People have been wanting to play God without his permission. They have this God complex, whether you're a doctor, a scientist, a police officer out here going into communities that you don't even live in. And karma, what goes around comes around. And I need people to understand that if you done somebody wrong, if you took money from them and you ain't paid them back, that karma's coming back to you. If you ain't been nice to nobody, that karma's coming back to you. So I think people need to take a chance and recognize a lot of the atrocities that we went through is PTSD. It's a lot of hurt. It's a lot of pain. I need people to just get out, get some breath of fresh air, talk to somebody, a spiritual leader. So I got my spiritual teacher. That's been the saving grace. However you can get whatever you need to get out and get up in the morning. I wake up at 3:33 or 4:44 in the morning because the numbers have been speaking to me and all of these different things. And so I think it's important that we got to get up, eat healthier, get up before sunrise, and accomplish more than what you thought that you can accomplish. Especially right now, there's so much more to be accomplished within yourself. And if you do not take heed of what your body is telling you, what your mind is telling you, what your emotions are telling you, what your spirit is telling you, that, hey, you need to slow down, homie. You need to stop, put the brakes on. You need to shut up and listen, because God Most High is trying to say something to you and tell you to stop and be careful. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt, a world of pain. And I hope that this resonates with a lot of people. I'm a humble servant, and I just try to do the best I can with what I have. Instead of just sitting here and crying and whining and weeping and blaming everybody being a victim, I have taken every thing in my life and turned it into a positive. I've helped out so many people, and y'all need to be doing that. Clean up the earth. Clean up your community, clean up your house. If it's in disarray, it's disorganized, have a healthy relationship. You can't have no healthy relationship going to McDonald's every day. So
I knew you all were in capable hands. I had to go do some stuff, but I'm back now. No, you ain't finished. You are not finished.
I'm never.
E-Groove says, you know what though? In this day, you have to be careful because people are snakes and money is the first thing they want. If there's not money, it's something. And that's what it is. I'm going to, and I know about bartering. I know about bartering. I have no problem with that. But you don't barter with somebody going in trying to cheat them.
No.
And
malice intention.
Right. And everybody wins when you barter for what you know. Mm-hmm. And for you, and you barter. My husband had a bartering skill I did not even know existed in him. We went to Africa, and I implore all of my people, make the opportunity to go to the motherland, and you will really stop whining and complaining and talking about having a pity party and like you said, being a victim. You have not. Think about what our ancestors went through. It took them 3-4 months to get across from Africa to the edge of America. And did you know how Black people got here? Say it's in that book right here.
I tell you.
But I knew it. In 1619. People say that's when Blacks came here. Black people was here anyway.
Yeah, they were there.
They were.
So you had both. You had Aboriginals. You had original people of this land, and you had people. We were all over the place, and there was a great conspiracy of conspiring that we were the workforce to be able to bring all of this to fruition, as it has. Mm-hmm. This world is built because of what has been done in history, on the backs of our ancestors, and on the backs of our right. And it is what it is. And it's just appalling to me that politicians would say, or anybody would say, well, they swore the Holocaust didn't happen either. Where you get all them 6 million bodies from? They just manufactured it. We didn't have computer generated images, CGI. Yeah. We didn't have that. No. We had books. It didn't have books. And you had to play outside. And if you did have books,
That probably wasn't your book.
No.
You know, you was looking at when we were growing up. My mother had the Encyclopedia Britannica, and it was the other
The source.
What is the world book? We had two sets of encyclopedias because it was 6 of us, and somebody was always working on a project, and you couldn't cut corners.
No.
You had to know, and then by us getting this knowledge or the lack thereof, it made us even hungrier to know who we were and where we came from, and why are we like this? Because there's so many things that didn't make sense here in America, especially with Black people. I didn't understand how women could be friends with their husband's mistress or with their husband's other girlfriend. They all coming in together and having, being a commune. And he's like the leader of the commune, right? And I found that in Africa, that's how women work. That's how men. Everybody gets up in the morning, shower, shampoo, and shine, and they leave. And they go outside. You're not allowed to play in the house. You're not allowed to do that.
You ain't supposed to come back home until
the street lights come. I gotta go again.
Go ahead, no problem. I'll take over. So
no, you ain't taking over.
Breaking News Journal says young people need to travel more, and I totally agree because the job that I was working at allowed me to travel the whole country, at least this whole country. I've been to every nook and cranny of this whole country. And so one of my good friends said, yeah, that's why they're finding pyramids in Arizona. I've gotten a chance to go to 46 states, every nook and cranny of this place. And from the only places I haven't been is Hawaii, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Puerto Rico. So every other place, I've been to your hood. So I know what's going on everywhere that's going on. So, with all of that's going on right now, I feel like people, when you leave and you journey out, you kind of start developing your own wild horse, and you start just galloping for knowledge and for greater understanding, because you have to understand, like, wherever you are, whatever family that you may be in, you may be compartmentalized in this whole little this New York cubicle of thinking. And your brain process, even if you may have read this book, you still have been stifled by the confines of your superficialities, your family traditionalisms, all of this, especially we all Americanized. So it's a lot of things we still got to grow from and pull the scabs up to actually heal and actually learn what has happened. But the more I got a chance to travel, the more I got a chance to understand people. I got a chance to understand that, like, we are all, like, we got a lot more in common than we got differences. That's one thing that we need to pay attention to. We got a lot more in common than we got differences. We all laugh. We all laugh, baby. And ugly comes in all colors. So I want people to just take a moment to at least be more graceful with each other and a little bit of understanding, because we are going through the same human experience, but on different capacities, because we all go in different directions in life. But how we get flanked and deterred, we always got to find ourselves back to point one, to center, to the light. And I feel like we all in some capacity may have strayed away, gotten away from what we were supposed to be doing, your purpose, your destiny, your mission. You need to know what these things are, because if you don't, you're going to be working a job that you could be a nurse when you really were supposed to be a lawyer. These things, you need to understand who you are. I think that is very deep and profound now, because people are clamping on and latching on to anything that is out there. And so because of that, people have become so reactionary to whatever's out there, and the emotional reactions to things have gotten people out of taking time for themselves. They've been so catered to everything else. And so I feel like with everybody out there, are people understanding that this time right now is just a time to just, like, self-reflect, close your eyes, think back on, like, okay, where have I come from? Where am I at now? Where am I going? Who am I? What am I? Where am I going? Where did I come from? What do I have to offer, to myself, to my community, to the whole world? It's all about a call to action now at this point. I know that everybody got, like, these different rules and regulations, these, New Year's revolutions and evolutions and things like that. But it's so much more deep that I need people to, like, really understand at this time right now, that people are going through a lot of anxiety. And they don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. They don't talk. Like, I worked on the road, and I was working at Walmarts. I was working at Sam's Clubs. I was working in all your Costco's, Walmarts, and Sam's Club around the world, around the country. I was working on. So I got a chance to sit there and talk to people all over the country and vibe out. And it's the one thing that I noticed, that there was not really a solidified place that people can actually go to anymore, because most of our institutions have been bastardized, or they have been infiltrated and infested with things that have been of all of these other little things instead of the core value of what needs to be. Like, work on your, like, if I'm at the gym, it should be just gym. If I'm at church, it should be just church. If I'm at work, it should be just work. I know that people want to add all these other elements, but people are not that smart. And so we got to be able to understand that, hey, sometimes you need to just break things down to its basic form. And I think that working on your body, work on your body. I'm fasting right now. This is the third fast that I've gone through in less than 6 months. The first one I started on my spiritual day, on my miracle day. You need to know these things. You need to know what day were you born on? What house are you born in? Like, these things are very spiritual because the stars align. We forget, and we throw it off to the side like it doesn't matter, because our ancestors navigated the oceans and the world through the stars. Even like, it's all trajectory, and it's a big old beautiful clock that's been able to tell everything all the way up until this time right now. So now that we have the opportunity to actually grow, what do we learn from all of this that has happened? And I feel like going through this fast, it's been able to decalcify all of the stuff in my body. I don't have any toxins in my body. I've been eating fruits and vegetables, water. Water is a water fast right now. So it's straight water. You can have apple juice, you can have some orange juice, that's cool, but not a whole smoothie. You can't have no smoothie. You can't have no, some people have the bread. Some people do have other ailments, but understand that this is cleansing. Mm-hmm. This is spiritually cleansing, mentally cleansing, and physically cleansing. Because when you're hungry, you're not thinking about arguing with your significant other. When you're working out, you're thinking about getting another breath. When you're swimming, you're thinking about getting a gasp of air. So I think people need to put themselves in that burner, that put your feet to the fire to test who you are now. Because I think we just got too comfortable and complacent and not really wanting to do too much, because we have so many. It's the McDonald's effect. Everything around us is a convenience.
And everything around us that's convenient is not good for us.
No.
This country has become so dumbed down that when they started fragmenting families, mm-hmm. And started accepting the fact that, back in the day, this was before me, because in my generation, most of my girlfriends had kids by the time they was 18. Wow. And it was acceptable. My mother said, like, you got two choices. You go to college or you go to the military. Mm. Well, I wasn't going to the military. I was having a hard time taking orders from her, so I knew I didn't want to put myself into that. Yeah. And it allowed me to be able to advance as far as my education was concerned. I got a ride to go to college, 4 years to college, and it was imperative to her that we knew who we were and where we came from. Mm. And I didn't know my mother's name, God rest her soul, was Shirley. And do you know Shirley is a Jewish man's name?
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I found
is a Jewish man's name. Google it. That's what y'all do. Make this, and that's
she's Googleable. I'm Googleable.
We are Googleable. And he made that word up, and I understood it. But now you will too. Mm-hmm. To know what we wanted to do. And she would say, the sky is the limit. You were talking about, being in, the stars navigating, that's what they did. That's how they got the ships. They looked at that, and everybody knew where the North Star was. And then they say the three wise men, when they went looking for the baby Jesus, the starlight guided them right to the baby Jesus. So I don't understand. And this is the one to get me. The church people, you know who you are, who believe that astrology is I don't know. They blasphemy. Okay, but if that's the case, how come when planets align and the trajectory shifts, what is that? What is that? And when you talk about going
don't
into
look at the sky, what type of mentality is this?
And putting your head in the sand is not gonna make it go away. No.
It's like critical race theory on another level as well, in that capacity. But it's dealing with astrology or any other. So we're always policing and hall monitoring everything, and where people are like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to learn no more. I'm overwhelmed. I'm exhausted.
Okay, and then let me have your blessing.
Sure.
Matter of fact, I'll take it, because people are not grateful for what they have. I had a guy tell me I was ungrateful, and I said, ungrateful for what? Because I don't agree with you. And he was like, well, see, you just don't understand, Mother Love. And I said, no, I don't understand. And I almost said, that's why you ain't got no friends, because your friends don't like you. I didn't say it though. I didn't say it because it would have served no purpose. And he knows he doesn't have he doesn't have friends. And one of the young people at the Breaking News Journal, young people need to travel. Yeah. Now I heard you talking about, he even been to Alaska. Yeah, he been to Alaska.
I seen Aurora Borealis.
Okay, in the stars.
In the stars. It was the most amazing thing that I've ever seen, y'all. Y'all have to get out and go travel. I've been to the border of Michigan and Canada, and I looked up in the sky and I knew there was a God, because the beauty that I saw is indescribable.
Only a supernatural being could have something to do with that. And I wanted to bring up how people, church people especially, they decide what they're going to take from the Bible, and then they got all of these different religions. And I remember a church had booked me to come to the church. I've been to churches all the time, and it never was a problem. Well, one of the sisters in the church, first of all, why was you reading a rag magazine to know that I was did even have my name attached to a second hotline? I thought you didn't even read stuff like that. So anyway, she said, well, I want her to be canceled because she is involved in, sorcery and, and casting spells. And they was like, what are you talking about? She got a psychic hotline. I had that psychic hotline for about 10 years before she even came up with stupid. And then if
you were tapping into your spiritual energy,
and I always do, and people can't handle that. And what I don't understand is how these same church people don't read the book of Daniel.
Or the whole book, period.
Oh, like I said, they pick and choose what they want.
Selective outrage. Yeah. Shout out to Chris Rock.
Yeah, it is selective outrage. Oh, I'm mad because you did this. And then even when they get to the New Testament, that was in the Old Testament said that this was getting ready to jump off. Yeah. Told you specifically and when and how, and this is what was going to happen. People still didn't believe it.
You can't have a New Testament without an Old Testament. Without an Old Testament. So you can't have selective outrage. You can't pick and choose. Like, truth is truth, factuals is actual. Like, and we just living in a time now where this is the year of receipts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So explain to some people who might not understand that this is a season of receipts.
Last year was a year of chaos and confusion. We were all like confused of like, is this person really who they say they are? And then this year we're like, okay, let's call it out. Let's find out if this person really is who they say they are. Mm-hmm. And I mean, let's give an example. Cat Williams just called out everybody in the industry. So I mean, and he called out all Black folks, which I'm not mad at, because I feel like there's nobody exempt.
No.
We all have to hold each other accountable. Just as much as the industry, we have to hold the players accountable, and then the players never came together to actually build a game. If that was the case, they never built their own board. And all of these actors and actresses, everybody crying and whining, y'all have been doing work for the longest, and none of y'all actually put anything together while y'all talking. So I want to see what y'all gonna do now. Even the musicians and artists and all that stuff, none of you guys have really built this thing back up. Y'all all got your money. Y'all all got your money.
Yeah, they're selling out stadiums.
But money make you more the person that you already
are.
And if you was never a good person, trust and believe, the Akashic records and the good karma or bad karma, you're going to get what you deserve. It don't matter if you're a doctor, lawyer, a celebrity, or anything like that. Nobody's been exempt since 2020. We had to take another look at what was going on right now. So when we reverse history and look back at what's going on, we have to take this into consideration.
And we're going to have to be accountable for it.
Yes.
When my grandkids were growing up, the only president they knew was Barack Obama. And then when the next president came in, they were like, well, where's President Obama? I'm like, well, he can only be the president, for 2 terms. Well, why he can't be the president like forever? We like him. These are little kids. These are children. And when the 45th came in, these kids did not know what to do because of all the white noise and the media, the mainstream media and all this crazy media, that keeps spewing him and giving him all this free time. But you'll talk about one good story at the end of a newscast. But you're going to tell us about murder, mayhem, rape, bombings, wars going on, people starting stuff just to start stuff so they can deplete their weapons, so they can get $858 billion worth of money when the military said, we don't need that kind of money. We got what we need, you know. But y'all so greedy.
All of them are.
All of them so greedy. You know,
I ain't got no skin in the game.
None. I got skin in the game. It's not that I don't believe nothing they say, because
they have not done anything.
And
I'm talking about
they
results.
ain't gonna do nothing.
If you don't have results, it does not matter what you're talking about. You can be all sizzle and all steak. If nobody has given you the exact results that are supposed to be shown, then that's just blowing.
Right. And
that's pump faking.
That's it. That is exactly what it's doing.
Yeah. I go off of results. So if I'm looking at records, anything like that, it has to make sense. So that's why I appreciate Dr. Claude for going and doing the research to get the receipts, to get the actual knowledge, and actually look at things and put it in perspective to where here's the problems, but here are the solutions that we actually need to take into consideration, because I think it's very important that we start looking at the solutions now. What are the solutions to everything that has been going on? The solution that my mother gave me of not being an ignorant young Black man was to put all of these books in front of me, and you use and do with it at your own leisure as you possibly do. And so even for my niece and nephews, they don't get for any holiday, birthday, anything like that, I give them books. And in the beginning, they did not understand why that was the case. It was like, I do not like Uncle.
Why you always give me a book?
Books? But then them books, they're the most intelligent little things that I've ever seen. Amazing little spirits. Our
grandkids, they expected that their first gift, when they open it up on Christmas Day or whenever, when they open it up, they say, we already know what this is. I'm like, why are you sucking your teeth? You don't know what it is. It's a book. It's a book. Yeah. I said, And then since they figured that out, I start hiding and all this stuff. I find out now and then they got on the mission. Well, we got to find a book. I said, whoever find their book first, you'll get $10.
And that's a good incentive. It incentivizes the kids, because I told them, hey, you gotta have A's and you gotta read this book. You gotta finish these books. You know, I'm not gonna reward you. I'm not gonna be hard on you, but I'm not gonna take it easy.
Right.
And people know, just as Mother Love know, I am a really tough, strict taskmaster.
Oh my God.
Dialed in. I'm one of them guys.
He turns into, I call him the Trey Beast in my head. I just said it out loud. Did I just say that? I'm like, he, for the most part, he's right. You know, but like most men, they don't want to be wrong when they talk to a woman. I get it. I live with testosterone. For 45 years, I got a testosterone scraper. If you want to order one, just go to my website. Oh, they ain't no.
We just tired of y'all spending all of our money. We trying to save and have a good, happy life too.
Oh, well, if you just do what we tell you, you would have a great, happy life.
So
you see how happy my husband is when he ain't going crazy. Now you do go crazy. He back there tapping on. I hear you back. I hear y'all. I'm coming out of my office too. And that's a big thing about the disintegration of the families. When the government starts telling these young girls that were in my generation, you know, it was okay to, well, the government didn't tell them it was okay if they had sex. They didn't even understand the concept of
the marital.
What is it I'm trying to say? Having protected sex. They went on birth control. The fellas wouldn't wear condoms. I was like, we probably once came up with no glove. And my no glove, no love was just introducing them to my mother and my brothers and sisters. That was a sexual deterrent in and of itself. They was ruthless. They were ruthless, because I had a set of you know, what I wanted to do, how I wanted to be, and it didn't come out nothing like I thought.
You had a set of standards.
I did, but it wasn't to be married and be a wife and be a grandma. I thought I was gonna be ripping and running and having living team husbands like the tea leaf reader told me. She ain't know what she was talking about. You're having a boy? No, that she did. She said, I was like 4.5 months pregnant. She said, well, can I touch it? And they didn't ask her, they touch it better. Let me just see what you're having. You're having a little girl. She gonna come early, and then you're gonna have another baby about 11 months after her with another guy. Also, what you just setting me up for? Hold on, what kind of action is this right here?
The sex is called sacred energy exchange, and we lost that connection as far as in the sacredness of it, the union of it, the energy that it takes for a man. Because you look at it, electromagnetic, like women are electro, men are magnetic, and different opposites, polarity. And so when we come together and it's that electromagnetic pulse and you do that, that's the Big Bang Theory, y'all. That's what it's called. It's called the Big Bang Theory. So, boop, you know, and so we've lost that. And I think we've just got, our society has just been wanting to be more free. And so we've gotten so free right now. The experiment, the social experiment has gotten way so free about everything that now it's becoming so like disgusting now, that where people are looking like, oh, why am I seeing trannies reading to a kindergartner now?
But maybe the kids didn't know they were trannies because kids don't look at people like that. Children could care less about what color your skin is. Children could care less about who you love and with. Kids want to be children. And if this individual, what they just, is it my turn yet? Can I get in the sandbox now? They don't do that, and we don't look for that. But the
adults
poison,
literally poison.
And that you look.
I got poisoned. I was stabbed as by a crackhead, 4 years old. I had anxiety. I had to be around people because I needed to find out what was going on. Things like that mess with you.
And I learned as a young girl that I wasn't gonna give them no power like that over me. I wasn't, no matter what it took. No matter, I just wasn't going to do it. And they all thought I was going to, they didn't call it PTSD back then, but they all thought I was going to have something was going to be wrong with me. And well, something is a little wrong with me, but it had nothing to do with that stuff. I mean, I remember at 14 years old, I got beat. I ain't talking about like paddled. I'm talking about beat with a stick upside my head. The teacher snatched me out of my seat, threw me on the ground. He was punching me in the face. The boys were jumping, and I could see it, but it was like I was having an out-of-body experience because I'm like, this teacher is not hitting me. This is not happening. This is not happening.
Never understood that.
And when I snapped, when the fellas jumped over the seat, I mean like 3 or 4 seats, because I'm looking at him like, wow, he got a pretty big jump. And I've taken myself completely out. The fellas jumped on his back. And he was a buff teacher and a black man. Jumped on his back, pulled, and said, because he had me on the ground. He had me on the ground. His foot was in my tie. The only thing I could do was grab the tie around his neck, but I'm pulling it and the knot is coming out. And so finally the guys got him off of me. They kept saying, run, run, run. And they pulled him off of me long enough for me to get on my all 4 knees. And I started on my knees and I was getting away. And I got to this little step. It was just like a little 2-step like this. I got to this step. This guy got it loose from his kids and kicked me in my behind, cracked my tailbone. So he done bruised me up. I go to the principal's and she had a bench outside her desk, outside her office. And, if you were coming there for trouble, you had to sit on the bench. So I sat on the bench. She saw me coming past her office. She knew exactly who I was. And she told me to sit on the bench. And I told her, well, Mr. Emmy, you see blood. He hit me with a stick upside my head. Blood's coming out. He twisted the stick out of his hand because I was trying to stop him. Twisted my arm, almost dislocated my shoulder. The worst thing was he kicked me. He hit me on the head with that stick, and it was like a flat stick, and it was like this thick. This was like a table leg almost, but not maybe that heavy. I'm all bruised and banged up and I'm bleeding and everything. And she said, well, you'll just have to wait till I'm finished.
Wow.
So then I get up off the bench. I don't know how I got to my aunt and uncle's house to live like right behind the school. I could come out the schoolyard, walk through one project hallway and get to my aunts and them. And their place was like almost on the end of the row. And somebody that knew my aunt knew me. They was calling my aunt. They was like, y'all got to come. Somebody come get the baby. And I made it up to the steps and my uncle opened up the door. And all I remember is my aunt screaming. And she was pregnant. She was like huge pregnant. I ain't never seen nobody move that fast. And that's the only thing I remember after that. I didn't remember going to the hospital. I didn't remember my mother coming. I remember when I got conscious again, I was in the car. And she said, okay, baby, tell me what happened. And my mother, that's when you don't be making it up. Don't be sugarcoating it. Don't try to leave stuff out. Yeah. So I told her what happened. And it started with him it started with him the day before. I left my social studies book in my social studies classroom. The classroom was empty. I went to get my book. And matter of fact, it was still sitting on top of my desk. Just ran in, got the book turned around, and he got one of my classmates, and he just banging on it, banging on her, banging on. She got it, she up against the wall, you know, and he doing his whatever. He was literally raping her. Because at 14, you don't have enough wherewithal to get permission for a grown-up to have sex with you. And talk about post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, because all of this you're saying is very vivid, you know.
And
the traumas are always vivid.
He didn't, I don't know. She looked at me first because I was like frozen. I got the book in my hand like this, and I'm like,
when you're sitting there witnessing it almost. Yeah.
And she turned her head toward me. Her face was so red because he was, you know, the way he was doing it. And she turned to me and she was like, don't tell nobody. And I was like, oh my God. Then he turned to see me and he said, you next. God
bless cameras now.
Well, God bless my mother, because when I told my mother, she told the principal, I want him in the office before I get there. He's sitting in the office. He's sitting on this side, and I could see in the doorway, you know, he's sitting on this side, my mother's sitting on this side, and the only space that's separating them is the doorway. She told him who the principal told him who my mother was, and my mother said, so let me hear what you have to say. Well, that heifer, wrong thing to say coming out your mouth when you have physically assaulted a minor. First thing out of his mouth was, that heifer? I didn't know my mama had a hammer in her pocketbook. Wow. My mother pulled her hammer. She had one of them hammers with the claw on the end of it. She pulled out this hammer, and we had several of them. And it was like the biggest one we had, and I thought she was going to break his leg. As soon as he said that heifer, boom, she hit him on his right knee. He grabbed his right knee, boom, she hit him on the hand. And she said, now you want to tell me what happened? Well, I told her she didn't do what I told her to do. Bam! She hit him on the left. I didn't know how she even got over his hand on his right knee. Hit him on the left. Hit him again. He was like, she beat me. She said, now how do it feel like? What it feel like getting your ass whooped by a bully? And he was like, bam, 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 bam. He had and he was bald. He had a bunch of knots rise up. He had some, he had some, look at that, ooh wee, because you're like, ooh, wait, look at that. Well,
she just helped his head already. It was already damaged.
After that, she took me out of school. Yeah. The Cleveland Board of Education told my mother that I could stay in the district if she would transfer me to another school. So she transferred me to another school. It was the same year I was getting ready to graduate from junior high school. And I didn't get a chance to graduate with my class. Wow. And I wasn't going to let that beat me. I wasn't going to let him do that to me. And I never saw him again. Never saw him again. They never heard from him again. I think they told me that he lost his teaching credential, and that was the first school he got his first teaching assignment, his first teaching job. And they said, well, he lost his license to teach. I mean, you would have saw me. You could tell I took a whooping, and my mother was not playing. And she put her hammer right back in her pocket, and she said, "Come on, baby, you ain't got to see these people not another time." They got me therapy. I had a psychologist. He said, he said, well, you know, we would talk. I had him for an hour on like Tuesdays and Thursdays just for the sake of the conversation. So I would go in about the second Tuesday I'm coming in. You know, he got his little assessment. He said, well, darling, I just want to tell you this. There's nothing wrong with you. You stood up for what you believed in. There's nothing wrong with you. He started taking me to the afternoon symphonies up at the Severance Orchestra House of Severance Hall in Cleveland. He took me to the theater. He took me to lunch, and I'd have to go. I think I wanna. Why people at McDonald's do that? You know this menu don't change that.
Yeah,
it don't change that.
You should know the number one is.
He bought a number, and he took me to the first restaurant that I sat down, and I had a menu. And and then he introduced me to his wife, so I knew I was in. And he said, "Okay, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna still come to see me for an hour, you know, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and we just gonna go on outings." He took me to the Arboretum, and he was like going on a personal field trip with no anybody but me, me and his wife. You know, it was so cool. And he said after the end, where and I did learn a lot from him. I did learn that I have a quick temper, and I have and he said it's not so much quick tempered, but you are thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead of the person. And then when you said that when you come back to them, they look at you like, oh, you think you know everything. I don't know everything.
And you wonder if
I know everything else.
You wonder if the atrocity, if it didn't happen, would you have become more temperamental like that? Because I look at it like, as a kid, you're like, how and why did this adult accumulate all of this wickedness in the world and just put it in their hands and create that velocity to even hit a child who is still so innocent, who's still trying to wrap their head around the world that they're living in. It looks jolly and colorful and things like that. Butterflies are flying, but this human, this adult, is flying his hand over you, or they're committing these atrocities. And it's like crazy, because whatever happened to you, whatever happened to me or anybody else out there, this is, don't let it break you.
You can't.
That like,
because if you break, they win. And success is the sweetest revenge. I didn't fall down. I graduated from high school, went to college, met my husband, as they say, and the rest is l'histoire. I'm making history. You and I are making history every single day. And that's what you got to think about. What is going to be the historical factor that keeps you motivated? What will be your history? What do you want to be known as? I mean, I know people, and I make sure that the people that I know who are in this category, they have nobody to mourn for them. They have nobody to remember who they were. One of our friends, her husband was an only child, and they got a lot of longevity in their family. His mother and grandmother lived to be in their hundreds. And he is like, I got to get some new friends. And I couldn't understand why my mother used to tell us, always keep young people around you. You keep young people in your life. 2 things: they can always learn from you, and they will learn from you, yay or nay. So you decide if it's going to be a yay, or you decide if it's going to be a nay. And I watched a lot of the kids go to the nay side because, the fathers were no longer in the home. The fellas would show up like right around the 1st of the month. And they'll stay with you and make another baby or whatever, and take you to the grocery store. And then by the 3rd, they gone. And then you gotta wait. Your kids gotta wait 28 more days, to see their father. And then you get mad at the kids.
These are weird societal
you mad at your
scenarios.
Kids. You mad at your children because you made a bad decision and made a bad choice, knowing that because you can't tell me you don't know. You can't tell me you don't know. You might want to pretend it's not there. But it's there. It is there. And there are people who nobody was going to grieve for them. And so you make sure you make sure you respect your elders all the way. And she used to say, and old people are cantankerous. I'm just letting you know. Our great grandmother, she had hair down to here. It was snow white. I thought it was a natural hair color, but she went gray at an early age. And she had hair down here, and it was like this thick. And she had the nerve to be tenderheaded. And she wanted you to scratch her dandruff. You know what that is? You scratching her dandruff, they part your head, scratch your dandruff up. Now you got all this white stuff. Then you got to go back and shampoo their hair. And then you got to come back and you got to wait till it dry. But while it's drying, you got to be. I don't want to see a hair in that brush. I don't want to see a hair in that comb. And she heard me say, I swear, I did not mean to say this out loud, but they got Jedi mind tricks. She said, you better not messing with my hair.
I think that's why me as a man, I truly appreciate every woman out there who goes all the way out of their way to look appealing, not only for us, but for yourselves.
Oh yeah, you do know that women, we don't really dress for men.
No.
We dress for each other.
We appreciate y'all.
I know. We know. And the cool thing about, and when you get somebody that loves you in and out, up and down, for rich or for poor, watch that one too, y'all. Cause see, you don't
rich or poor. Woo. They'll leave you in a hot dime.
And that's so trifling to me.
Especially now.
So trifling. And I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with me. My husband is my first and second husband. Because most of my friends, when they did get married, they were working on their 3rd and 4th husband. And I told you the lady with the tea leaf said I was going to have 7 husbands. So you working on the 2nd husband's time. He said, hold that. He didn't say, hold that crazy dog. Went off. I ain't know where he went. And he came back, like in couple of hours or whatever. And so that later that weekend, he said, come on, we're going to go to Vegas. Now, only thing I like to watch in Vegas is the people. I will maybe lose $25. I don't care if I got $5,000 in my pocket, but I'm $25. That's it. When it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
So we're walking around and I'm thinking we just going to be doing it. He said, oh, and bring something pretty so I could take you out. What's something pretty? I said, okay. And he knows I love my sorority colors, royal blue and gold with Sigma Gamma Rho, Simba Sisters for life. And so I did have to put my best royal blue suit on and my beautiful yellow blouse. And I had my shoes that mustard colored just like the blouse. Oh, I was flat. Got my hair whipped. We walking through the Imperial Palace because he was like, let's go to the Imperial Palace. I'm like, we've never been over there. I know. So I'm thinking we're going into the casino. The casino.
Yeah.
To gamble. Did I just say we're going to the casino See? Well, they was going to do that casinoing thing.
To casino.
Yeah, to the casino to gamble.
We're going to casino.
We casino. Don't stop. I can't stop. We be over here in stitches. Okay, so we get up on the elevator. I said, well, where we going? He said, oh, it's going you going up. We get up to the wedding chapel. He had the whole chapel set up for us to renew our wedding vows. I can't believe I'm still this emotional about it because that was one of the few times I couldn't talk. I mean, it was beautiful. It was just beautiful. And they put some effort into it. It just wasn't one of them like, let Elvis Presley marry you. One of his friends lives in Vegas. And he even got him to come and stand up for him. And I said, well, I don't have nobody standing up for me. He said, it's all right. Then his friend's mother came in and they knew how much I loved her.
I wonder what the statistics are for people who got married in Vegas in comparison to people who waited a long time or they put on these big old extravagant weddings and then they got rid of the person.
See, you can't make what? See, you could do it. You could do it. Me and my husband had a $15,000 wedding. Okay, but we didn't pay $15,000 for what I told you. I know how to barter. And I was on the radio at the time. And, and it's funny. When you don't have anything and you're struggling and scuffling, whatever it is you're doing, and you fighting and scratching, especially in the entertainment industry, you don't expect that to happen. And so when we got married,
it's rough.
We knew that's Google that. Somebody Google that and let me and Perm Blaq know what the statistics are on people that get married in Vegas. Sometimes they don't remember they were married. We was drunk. It was just so beautiful. And they came to me and they said, well, Mrs., do you solemnly swear? I was like, and he put his hands on my face like this, and he just kissed me on my tears. And I was like, this is a chapel. Do not remove your underwear. Let's go back to the hotel. Because that was panty dropping time right there with him. Oh, and look at who cometh in here as I tell the story of you marrying me for the second time. So now you got to do it 5 more times because you see the lady said 7.
Unsurprisingly, Las Vegas is the city with the highest divorce rate. A study called American Community Survey 5-year estimates found that 12% of all males and 14.6% of all females living in Vegas are divorced.
No, that tell you who's divorced. How long does how long they got in here? How long does a Las Vegas
marriage last? 1 year.
What? Is that the longest?
Las Vegas marriage license is valid for 1 year. So is it just to at least get the process started? And then you got to actually go to down to Norwalk in California where you got to go get the actual wedding. I mean, the actual papers for marital.
The marriage license.
Yeah, marriage license. So why is it a license? I don't get that.
Because
I'm single. I ain't got no kids.
And he ain't gay.
I need these ladies. No, I'm not. I need all of these ladies to. I need to get a greater understanding of these things because I'm 30-something. I don't know.
I see. I could not even imagine what you guys and women are going through in this era of dating and non-dating and going to dating websites and pouring your heart out. And they were, And they
ain't even them on there.
No, I mean they be lying through their teeth
because of shame.
But why would you put your bio up there in your picture, and when you meet that person, they don't look like that?
Because AI can write it for them and make them sound more of a beautiful person than they really are.
Just so cheating.
So the vain and superficiality of it, you know, people are jaded and bitter and angry now. You know,
and they want to drag. They want to drag it with you. Didn't Nora Hill? Wasn't she the one that made the song "Bag Lady"?
No, that was Erykah Badu.
I knew it was one of them Queen sisters. You know what I'm talking about.
I know them all.
What she say?
Shout out to both of them.
Both of y'all, kisses.
I'm single.
They're not. I have to catch him. I have to catch him. And there, some of them be just want to lap you up like a lap dog, and I have to. You smell.
It'll be the older ladies. The
older ladies like you. They like you. You know, because they figure I don't have to teach him much, probably know a lot, still in the prime of his life. That's why he prime Blaq, you know. And you're going to change your name from prime Blaq when you leave your prime, then you're going to be older Blaq.
Senior Blaq, AARP Blaq, geriatric.
Okay, we will see. And this is what has kept our people together. You know, laughter prayer, you know, holding on to one another. You know, our ancestors didn't have the beauty of an OBGYN room. You didn't have you could take maternal leave. No, your water break, drop that baby. Somebody come wrap that baby up. Give her a sheet, put it on up there, stop that bleeding, get on back to your cotton picking. You know, I saw this
crazy
one of these etchings that was on the internet, and it said, and it got black people in the cotton field. And it says, from picking cotton to picking presidents.
Wow.
Now, that's a lot that has been accomplished.
That is a lot.
Look at what else we have to have accomplished. And even when we do accomplish, white people want to take it away from us. I don't know if you ever saw this movie with, what is his name? You called him for me the other day, and I just love him. What's his name?
What's the name of the movie?
Okay, the name of the movie was, I think it was Gifted Hands. And it was about a black he wasn't even a doctor. What's his name? It's gonna come to me. He's a rapper. He's an actor. Mos Def.
Okay.
I love you. I just love you. I'll fix you something to eat if you come up and visit me. That's Mos Def. You bring whoever you want, up to 3 people.
Gifted Hands. The Ben Carson story.
Was it Gifted Hands?
That's Cuba Gooding Jr.
No, this one has got Mos Def in it.
Okay. Let me see.
Maybe that ain't the title.
Let me look him up. Shout out to Mos Def. It's my guy.
See, Mos Def, Gifted Hands.
New name is Yasin Bey.
Oh, Yasin Bey, formerly. Oh, hello, my brother Yasin Bey.
So we gotta get your name correct.
Well, yeah.
Salute.
Okay, yeah, he is just adorable to me.
Movies right here. So, Life of Crime. Let's see, where are you at?
Begin Again.
Oh, he's in some movies.
He's a very good actor. Anyway, he was I don't know.
These are all his movies. Brown Sugar, that's classic. That's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Oh, what's it?
Sanaa Lathan and Queen Latifah.
Oh, look, I just love her.
And they was performing at the hip hop celebration 50 years. And
they said it wouldn't last.
Man,
they said it wouldn't last. I said, y'all said that about rock and roll.
Hip hop is in every instrument, everything of what we do.
Look, and it works globally.
Yes, it does.
You know, they put the what's the young guys K-pop. See, you understand what they do to American artists. They were just completely overwhelmed with the attention, and they're not used. You know, Asian people are pretty private people. You know, to a point. You can't be so private if you're making 1.5 billion people in one country called China. I'm like, y'all over there doing, but they don't touch each other. I was like, somebody touches somebody. Ain't just say, and unless it's 100, unless it's a billion.
It ain't enough plastic Barbie dolls and NFTs out there that marrying.
No, and so you know that, but he was this. He was the surgeon's, I'm gonna say, apprentice. And I don't know if I don't know if it wasn't a story of Ben Carson, but because Cuba Gooding Jr. wasn't in it. that I know of. He was in gifted hands. We'll find out, or you'll find out, and let us know. But they'll take things away from us, and talk about inventions. People don't know this.
Yeah.
Invention is what is it? Intelligence is something when you invention. Oh, necessity is the form of is the purpose of invention. Okay. So now a lot of people, these are ones that I know about. Okay. Wait. The ones that I know about is Otis Elevator. Otis was a black man.
And that is
Mr. Garrett.
Okay.
Created the street light. He said he tired of people getting run over with it.
Okay,
that's it, because we ain't giving no more royalty. No. Street lights, Otis Elevator, the escalator, the iron and the ironing board. It's just so much. I mean, look, George Washington Carver, he the one made Billy Carter, Jimmy Carter, love peanuts. This guy said, "Let me found a peanut. Now let's see what we could do with this peanut." They ain't come up with none of that. They didn't come up with black hair care. Black hair care.
What's her name?
Who? Which one?
Who made the hot iron?
You talking about Madam C.J. Walker?
Madam C.J. Walker.
I always wanted to do her story.
I feel like you could.
I know I could.
We about to put that in the air.
She was one of my biggest sheroes. She was my first
she was an entrepreneur. She was a millionaire.
She was the first black millionaire, and they gave her she was a footnote. They didn't tell about how many people she taught to do hair, and that's what she said. And my grandmother then met her.
Wow. Her
and the guy was the fuller brush man. He was the first spokesperson in our neighborhood. Was a black guy, because white people didn't want to come down. I don't care about white people come down there. Ain't nobody gonna be bothering you, thinking about you, and that. And it is just so many other inventions. Okay, this is where's the one I'm looking for? Inventions. But it's just so
many.
It's so many things. And
there was a big influx where we were going down to the offices to put in all of these patents. And lo and behold, the patents were getting auctioned off, or the paperwork wasn't going through to where the names were being plagiarized, and most of these people who actually created these things did not get any of the credit. And so when you look at Jacob's Trouble, a lot of our brothers and sisters out there were, regardless if you were born or you died, that dash was really an asterisk. So, it made it really hard that whatever work that you ever aspired and accomplished, whoever it was throughout history, from Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Reggie Bush, Bill Cosby, you name it, every single person that I can think of right now, they have been scrutinized in the public eye so heavily to where we don't even put them on a pedestal. We don't give them their roses for even being the trendsetter or the pioneer or the person who just blazed the trail for us. No different from Mother Love. She should be able to get her roses. Like, she brought forgiveness and reconciliation to the TV screens, where everybody else was trying to fight and beat each other up and do all of this crazy nonsense. We still were trying to hold on to a very wholesome aspect in our life where we were trying to heal. And obviously the powers that be did not want us to heal. They wanted us to stay down in the dumps, still mad and sad and just doing everything outside of that. So I want us to really start understanding that we need to put out these receipts. And the work that we're doing now, even with Mother Love, I want you guys to be able to check in on all of her platforms, everything that she's doing, because it is very important. She's been advocating for diabetes and health and wellness in our community all across the whole world. So I think people need to understand that's very that's a very admirable thing, because most people, when people are selfish, they're alone and helpless. And so when you end up being more selfless and you look out for the community, that unity, there's so many pictures, there's so much information, videos out there that people have not even gotten a chance to really see of Mother Love. And
I was shocked.
I'm so humble and honored to be able to showcase that to you guys, because I think that the whole world needs to be able to see these receipts of all of the people that she's touched. Every single person that she has touched, from Forgive or Forget to KFI, all of the people in Cleveland, New York, everywhere, and wherever you are, in Atlanta, Florida, all the way into California, she has brought her business and her beautiful energy all the way to this side of the coast, to that side of the coast. And we need to be able to understand that love is the one thing that keeps us all together.
And that's the one thing that there's just too little of. I know y'all saw my horrible, terrible singing. Get the message. And he did that. I have to watch myself because he had a video camera on. You know, my hair be sitting on the chair. I'm like, wait, let me get my hair. Can I put my lips on? All people, nobody care about that. I do. I don't want to scare old people and children.
Oh, no.
So, somebody, she says, post all the history books you know about to somewhere, including YouTube. Oh, we got them up there.
Yeah.
Put your LA Talk Radio shows up somewhere too.
Thank you. I'm glad she brought that to attention, because when I was graced and blessed with this woman, I met her at LA Talk Radio. And so when I met her, that was the same. I enjoyed, and I was given the memory of that experience just as much as every single guest that was on her show. And to have almost all of her guests give their own Angie's List Yelp review of their experience on the show that she had goes to the testament of the work that she has done. And
I continue to do with this
very
program.
much continue with this program now. So wherever platform you are and wherever you are listening to on a podcast, make sure that you spread the love that we are doing. There's no hate, there's no animosity, there's no gripes, there's no vengeance, no pettiness, none of these energies. We just want to have very thorough and comprehensive conversations about things, whether we are right or wrong. And if we are wrong, can we correct them in a humble way, in an adult way that we can be able to do that? And if there are problems, can we come up with actually solutions instead of getting emotionally driven into these personal fights with each other that don't really get us to the next level
and won't even get us off the chopping block because we're too stubborn. And it's just like Dr. Claude says, we don't know what the solution is. We don't know how to come to a solution because we won't even see the problem. We don't want to see the problem. We want to make it go away. Like I hear a lot of these Caucasian politicians talking about, you shouldn't teach critical race theory to children. Nobody teaches children critical race theory. That's something you get in law school. Why would you even think that, that a second grader is going to even be able to come? Most of y'all can't comprehend it. The guy that's the governor of Florida talking about Florida is where woke goes to die. So obviously he doesn't understand the term woke. It's an action, because when you sleep, you sleep. That's an action. When you are woke, you know what's going on around you in the world. So if that's where woke goes to die, I hope you Floridians really pay attention to your politicians and who that you are sending to office to represent you. And some of these people that are in these offices just don't make any sense. And now it just seems like maybe is it me that they seem like they're running scared?
What they're doing is
fearful.
They're latching on like it's a instant gratification thing where they have to get on the merry-go-round to say their piece. Like there's always a microphone in front of you, a political pundit or anything like that. Like, hey, what is your opinion about this? Hey, what is your opinion about that? So all of these distractions, I don't want people to get distracted. Like that's crazy for people to actually ingest that and think that you have to react to everything that is put in front of your face. Like, no, that is literally what people have. And then people sit there and give their opinions without any validation, without any information behind it.
And no solutions. They're just going to tell you, well, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about, Prime Blaq.
It's off top.
I remember when coming out here, and I came out here because I had a job. Well, it wasn't a job. It was just beautiful. And they brought me out here to put me on talk radio. And I'm like, I keep telling them I ain't black. Because they ain't going to put no black chick on no white radio station, on no talk radio station. That's what and I've always been saying I was burnt sienna since I was a kid. And we got the 64 crayon box. Kids, they'll mark their hands up and mark their arms up. And so one day I was bored and I decided to put all the marks on me every color. And that's the only color that does not show up on me. Even flesh tone shows up on me. Wow. So I ain't got a problem with it. But what we don't understand and what other white politicians are seemingly not understanding is that your time is up. Okay, you
guys have not fixed anything.
You ain't did nothing but cause more havoc and ran more amok. And then you let other people run amok, and people can just talk about the American constituents are out of order. You're out of order. We sent you there to be the grown-ups in the room, and now you want to tell you guys can't even get along, and you want all of us to get along. Teach by example, and the example that you're teaching Josh Hawley, who ran across the walk trying to get out the Capitol building during that insurrection, and these people running around talking about hang Mike Pence. This is the vice president of the United States. I don't think none of them. Did you hear what happened in Oregon?
Nobody's satisfied.
I want to get it. I just got this news today. Oregon. Oh my God. Oregon has said any Republican who was a part of the insurrection and knew about it and didn't do anything, they're coming off the ballot. You will not be allowed to be voted on in Oregon because you can't turn your back on the Constitution. Yeah, I bet y'all crapping in a basket right now. Shut up. Yeah, took them down because and I think it's Kansas and some. It's now I think there's 3 states that are taking them off the ballot. See, and that's what you got to do. You have to demand that these thugs come or get out of office.
What about the thug that's in office now?
Oh, that thug.
Let's talk about that thug.
Biden. He ain't no lily white person either.
They
got dirt. We got dirt going on.
We got some stuff going on right now. Been 4 years of some stuff.
I mean, it doesn't make sense to have 2. Yeah, we got 2 wars going on that we are financing, which we shouldn't be financing. And I guess. But see, to me, it's like people just want to go to war because I could take it. Putin said, I'm going to do this because I can. And what they going to do? I want Ukraine back and I want them part of Mother Russia. And we'll fight you to tooth and nail to get it back.
At the end of the day, I am in no one of these fights. I have no dog in the fight. My energy is going to be over here, peaceful.
That's what you got.
Jacob's trouble is no more. I'm going to let all of my people know that we need to slow down, homie. Stop. Shut up. Listen. Because God is trying to tell you something right now.
God is telling you something. And what it is
humble thy heart.
You don't want to listen because it's too hard. It's going to take too much energy. I can't do it. If I get rid of all this hate and animosity to me that I'm hoarding, and a lot of people don't even know why they're still mad at somebody. A lot of them, don't even know why they're still mad. I remember it was a set of twins that came on to the Forgive and Forget show, identical twins. And they were throwing a birthday party. Everybody was throwing them a birthday party. And so come down to like maybe a week before the birthday is actually getting ready to take place. And apparently a lot of arrangements have been made. Well, one of the sisters had just got hired for her dream job. Just got hired for her dream job. And she had to go like out of town to like a orientation. And it was only like the weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And, they came back Sunday evening. So the other sister who got the job, she called her sister and she said, oh girl, I got that promotion I was looking for. I got that promotion. She gets the promotion and she says, I'm not going to be at the party. Don't you know her sister stopped speaking to her?
Wow.
Told her kids, y'all can't go over her house. You can't go over your auntie's house. The kids are sneaking around and see each other because the mamas is tripping.
All the adults been tripping.
All the adults is tripping. And the kids had said how badly it damaged them emotionally because at first they were real close. And now she's upset about a birthday party that happened 15 years ago because you couldn't have another birthday party.
Stop being mad, y'all. That's hard. It's hard to get over a lot of things. And I think these conversations that we're having, when we talk about them and bring them to the front, it's because we need to be able to address the things that are dirty. A flower a beautiful rose does not grow without dirt. So the dirt that has put us through, we gotta do what we gotta do. And so
and collectively we get over this crab barrel mentality. My whole thing is when people say, oh Mother Love, you're legendary, you've done this, that, and the third, and I'm like, okay, when you start going through stuff, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, 90% of it I forgot about doing it because I'm going to do it. You get what you need. You come to my love, you take what you need. I pour out, put it out. I come in, I'll fill it up.
You have an amazing resume with the community. See, and I want all of everybody in the community to understand.
Just doing what I'm supposed to do.
So just on the side. Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson out there. Shout out to everybody who's been listening across all platforms. You can listen to Mother Love on all streaming platforms from Spreaker, Blog Talk,
Restream, Facebook,
GeoSavin.
I wanted to say that. I wanted to say that one too.
Google Podcasts, you name it. She's out here. You guys follow her on all the platforms. There's amazing, beautiful things that are going on this year, and I want you guys to stay in tune and stay, being involved. I think we just need to keep developing these conversations. So thank you,
And
Mother Love, for bringing me on the show. It's a humble honor.
I thank you for holding down the show when I had to go make a transaction real quickly. I appreciate that. And make sure you check out Prime Blaq.
Googleable.
He's Googleable. And his $1 billion
Bangers!
because that's what we do. That's how it is. So we already said where they can get us all and everything. So we thank you all, and thank you for your patience. Thank you for your love. And remember this, no matter how big or small, short or tall, thick or thin, matters not what skin you're in. Everybody needs some mother love now and then. Peace, my babies. Holding it down, Prime Blaq.